One of the greatest skills you must have is the ability to be flexible, because it will not work out the way that you planned it. Motherhood in 3 words would be love, becoming, unpredictable. Yeah. Because a lot of days are unpredictable. Yeah. A lot of things are unpredictable. So there's a lot of going with the flow and redefining things as you keep growing in the journey of motherhood. And that's why I said becoming, because, just giving yourself, I had to come to understand that it's a journey, right? And in that journey, you're going to keep becoming. And as you keep becoming, you must keep extending grace to yourself. There's no defined pathway, and that's why God cannot be taken out of it, because, it's an evolution that is happening both for the children and for you as a mother, and with that way, it makes it easier to adjust to changes that would keep happening, because how a child is when the child is a baby, to when they're a toddler, to a girl, to an adolescent, to a teenager, completely different. So it's a journey of, becoming, yeah. So the thing is, funny enough, we don't have a very strict way we figure out how, for the theme for the year. I think it's just somehow, it's almost like you sense what is supposed to be in a particular season, and honestly, God must be involved in all of that. So BB always champions, in terms of sort of bringing the name together, and then how it's supposed to be, and I really just flow with it, because most times it's usually aligned. And I think for this particular one, why I love it is it's also in a season where I have had to evolve the most as a mother. In fact, I have had the biggest struggle, actually. I wouldn't say, maybe not struggle, but learning curve, exactly, stretch, being a mother, being a maker, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, so it's like, I get it. It's tough. It's really, really tough. It's really, really tough. And I think it's something that it's very important to talk about. We don't need to gloss over the difficulties that associated with it. We don't need to glamorize it, right? We don't need to make it look pretty, because a lot of the times it's really not pretty. It's really chaotic, right? A lot of the time is you trying to fight into find yourself and reclaim yourself, and also giving room to also be there for everyone else, right? So it's it is tough, right? But of course it has its joys. However, I think that mothers need to be given more and more of the opportunity to grow into this and boldly become, without shame, without guilt, without the feeling of unworthiness, feeling like you don't have it all together, right? Because the truth is, no one has it all together. I think it's such an important conversation that we're having right now. I love it. I love it a lot, because I know what it means to lose yourself and lose yourself in the process of motherhood. Care too much for everyone else, want to be there for everyone else, and put yourself last. Now, for some people, it's easy for them to pick themselves up again and keep going. For a lot of other people, it's not that easy. It takes a lot of trying to navigate through talking to other people, having community, having help. So for me, the way my connection to this campaign is just, how do we throw more light to the incredible value that mothers are bringing, and also letting them know that, it's okay for you to go through your struggles, right? It doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change what God has called you to be. It doesn't change who you can become, right? And also for the people who haven't even become mothers, because, it's almost like the woman who, there's just so much fear everywhere. Before you become a mother, you're afraid. While you're a mother, you're still afraid. When you get to another stage, at every stage is like different fear, and, saying that, we can embrace this. We can lose ourselves and we can find ourselves again. We have what it takes to reclaim our identity back and keep pushing through. We can decide to just focus only on children, or we decide not to. You can decide, you don't want to have children. You can decide you want to have. You can decide you want to have one. You can decide you want to have 3. But it's just standing in your own power and being clear about what it is that is important to you, and saying, what, this is important to me, and I'm not afraid, I am not ashamed to go after it, yeah. So that's right, that's the way I'm connected to it, yeah. There's this scripture that, when God gave out, I think whether it's the parable of the talents, or he gave out some money and then he said, go, and then they multiplied it and came back and they said, well done, my good and faithful servant. So what that scripture, and it's in Matthew, it says to me is, well done, my good and faithful servant, means that, well done for doing what I called you to do. There's a purpose, there's a reason why I created you. You went and you did it, and you've done well. So I think for me, it's actually just knowing that I am right in the middle of God's plans and God's purpose for my life, and doing it and making a difference and leaving footprints in the sands of time. So I would say that's really what gives me, because motherhood is just part of what God has put in my life to beautify my life, but it doesn't define my life. It is not the purpose of my life. It is, there's a role it is playing in, fueling and, nurturing my soul, right? So that I can keep fulfilling purpose. And there's the role I am playing as a mother in the lives of my children, God's children, in helping them to become. So I think seeing it through that lens makes me know that, yes, I am a mother, but I am not defined by my motherhood. Like, this is not all there is to me. And what matters at the end of the day is saying everything that God has put inside my hands, every opportunity that God has given to me, have I made the most of it? So even when raising the children, that's what I am thinking. I'm saying, God, these are your children, and I don't want the reason why you brought them into this world through me, let it be fulfilled. Let me do that which I am supposed to do in their life, because they are your children. Let me point them in the direction that you also have put for their life. I'm not there to define their life, and they're not there to define my life. So I think with that context, it makes it easy to say that, yes, you can have different things. You don't need to be, you're not defined by your job, you're not defined by the fact that you're a mother, you're not defined by marriage, you're just defined by who God has called you to be. And just being centered in that and saying, I'm here primarily, to fulfill purpose. And in my journey to fulfilling purpose, I will become the best mother I can be. I will become the best wife I can be. I will become the best businesswoman that I can be. And as my life continues to transition and evolve through it, still in purpose, right? I am grateful for all the journeys through all of these channels of my life, but I still keep my eyes focused on my Creator, who called me and said, this is what I have called you to do. And at the end of the day, he said, have you done it? Well done, my good and faithful servant. So I think that's really what, keeps me up. And in the part of legacy is just saying that children learn by seeing, right? So what comforts me is knowing that, yes, in the times when I know it's not easy and they feel like, they really need their mom more than they see her, and I understand it. And sometimes I have to be there, but I also know the importance of being deliberate about fulfilling my purpose and actually doing the work, because I am setting a precedence for them, because someday they're going to be women, they're going to be mothers, and our mothers are the pictures of what we have to say, oh, my mom did this, I am going to do it, right? So yes, it might not be easy, but I'm already subconsciously telling them that you too can chase your dreams. You too can become, when you get to that point, right? You too, your mom did it, you too can do it. And I know a lot of things that I do now. I remember that my mom was it's very hardworking, she's always, always on the move, always doing everything that she can, making the most of every opportunity that comes, to her. So even as an adult, I still think about it. I will think about, I remember when my mom used to do this, or when she would do this, the different sacrifices that she had to make. And it might not have made sense then, but over time, it did start to make sense. So I think that is so, again, the legacy is not, you must follow my path, but know that you must think of your mom as a woman who lived her life, chasing after purpose. And because of that, I too, as a child, as her child, I have no other reason but to live a life of purpose. I would say, first of all, extend grace to yourself. I think it's so important to be kind to yourself. We're not kind to ourselves, We're so tough on ourselves because there's this expectation that I have to have this perfect family. I have to have this, my children have to be like this. I don't like how children do this way, my children have to be. And sometimes you have to drop all those expectations and, focus on your family and how it is, and extend grace to yourself. Even when you drop the ball, you extend grace to yourself and say, tomorrow I can pick it up again. Yeah. And then we can keep going, right? I think that's so important. The kinder you are to yourself, the kinder you will be to everyone around you. And if you keep pouring, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you keep nurturing and pouring and extending grace to yourself, you'll see that your heart will become open to embrace everything else. Second one will be, draw strength from God. I don't know how any woman can do it without God. That's the truth. Because it takes supernatural strength to do some certain things, to do a lot of things that women do. Because again, the society is being positioned in a way where, whether you like it or not, you get to bear a lot more burden than you want to or than you plan to. And in your own strength, you really cannot. So I would say, draw strength from God, rely heavily on God. Because when your life is defined, when you're rooted in the identity of Christ, there's hardly anything that will shake you. And as a woman, as a mother, a lot of things come to shake you. And when they shake you, they're not just shaking, they're shaking your identity. They're shaking the root of who you are. So if you're not grounded in that identity, in God, and understanding who you are and drawing from the love of God and opening your heart for the overwhelming love of God. I don't know. That's like, because I feel like it's that abundance of love from God that fills you with so much love. That's from there that you can pour into, everyone else. And so extend grace to yourself, draw strength from God. And the third one would be present in the moment. Life is in seasons. Everything will not come exactly when you want them to, and that's okay. Sometimes you want to plan everything perfectly, but the truth is, you can't be perfect because, and God has already got that plan. But I think being present in the season helps you make sense of that season and draw the lessons from that season, right? Because again, there's a lot of comparisons. There's a lot of wanting to be like this person or that friend or, what you're seeing. But if you're present in your season, if you're truthful to yourself and acknowledging where you are right now and the realities of where you are right now and what you need, I think it would be easier to navigate. It will be easier to navigate as you extend grace to yourself, draw strength from God, be present, because even when it feels like things are not working, there are some things that are working, but your mind is too cluttered that you can't see it. So be present, because even when it seems like there's no road, even when it looks like it's chaotic, that chaos is the road to where that chaos is the path to the place that you desire. Yeah. So that chaos is the path to the place that you desire. Oh, for the little boss portrait. I would say, why is it on the fence? Why are you sitting on the fence? What I like about the Lady Boss portrait session is it's not just about taking pictures and wearing clothes, but that is also good in its own. Lovely clothes, you get the best pictures. But I think it's also being part of the legacy of the Lady Boss campaign, journey. We've been on this for 7 whole years. Yes, for 7 years, we have launched campaigns. We have celebrated different women. We have celebrated different themes. We have photographed different women, and it's been an incredible journey. What warms my heart the most is actually seeing the transformation that happens in the lives of the women that we photograph. What happens when you wear a really beautiful outfit that makes you feel like, what? Yes, I'm the woman, and then you stand, you get the most, the best images you have ever seen of yourself that reminds you that you're enough, that reminds you that you have what it takes, that reminds you that regardless of what it looks like, that's not what defines you. That reminds you of everything that you have ever desired to be and become. You still have it inside of you, and you can do that. The Lady Boss Portrait 1.0 was when I started being intentional about taking images of myself, and I can tell you for sure that has completely transformed my life, because every single year I see that journey, I see myself, and every image reminds me of who I am. It reminds me of what I carry, and it reminds me of what I can become. So if you are sitting on the fence for the Lady Boss portrait session, I would say, just give it a try. It is everything that you hear it to be, right? And it is so much more than pictures. It is so much more than outfits. It is an opportunity for you to feel empowered. It is an opportunity for you to be transformed. It's an opportunity for you to be in a space where you feel seen, you feel loved, you feel celebrated, and you feel empowered. I am Yagazie Eguare, founder and CEO of Gazmadu, and I am a mother and a maker.